O next question, mas palalimin natin. Attorney, what if the 251 valid lahat? Na-obtain siya ng choice na no union. Okay, erase. Attorney, what if the 251 ulit, no? Out of 501. What if the 251 votes valid lahat, lahat po nakuha siya ni no union. Every vote valid, no union. Was there a winner? The answer is yes. The winner is no union. There was a valid election, there was a winner. Tapos ang election natin. Ano po ang naging choice? We do not like Aceba. You get it? Panalo yung no union. Okay? So tapos na ang regulasyon, tapos na ang election. No one was elected. Because that was the choice of the majority. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. Next. We need to respect the wishes of the voters, no? Kung ayaw nilang union, so be it, no? Dapat di natin sila pilitin na magkaroon ng union. Okay. Sabihin natin ngayon, may sabihin natin, may valid election. Walang winner. Sabihin natin, 250 lang ang highest number of votes na nakuha ng isang choice. Sabihin natin, 250 sa kawan. Ganun nga, yung parang kanina nating example. No? So, walang winner. Ang next na tanong, pwede mo magka-run off. Okay? Ano po ba yung run off? Basically, another round. Okay? Ulitin natin. Another round yan. Third round. Okay. Ang first round po kasi, may valid election ba? Second round, may winner ba? O pag walang winner, third round tayo. Run off. Okay? So, kung how can there be a run-off election? May requisites po. First requisite, no majority. No choice, no majority. No choice obtain a majority. Okay. Of the valid votes cast, no? So, bigsihin ko na lang. No choice obtain a majority vote, di ba? Of the valid votes cast in the election. That's the first element. Second, kaya po tandaan nyo ha, sabihin natin no union ang nanalo, 251 votes. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-run off. Kasi may nanalo majority. First element pa lang bagsak na tayo. First requisite pa lang bagsak na tayo. There was a winner. The no in union. Tapos ang election, tapos ang reglamento. Okay. So how can there be run off? No choice. No? Wait, ayusin natin pala. Third requisite pala. Nangunguna ako. Okay. Valid election, malamang. No? There must be valid election. So dapat, pasok dito. Okay? Second element, second requisite. There must be 3 choices. 3 or more choices. Kasi pwede pong magkaroon ng certification election, tandaan nyo, na dalawa lang ang choices. What do I mean by that? Union A at saka no union lang. Pwede pong magkaroon ng certification election that way. Okay? Nalay ko rito, ano? So, tangent na lang muna. Certification election, pwedeng 2 choices lang. Tandaan nyo lagi, no? Itatak nyo sa isip nyo. One of the choices is always no union. Hindi pwedeng mawawala. Okay? So, sa isang certification election, pwedeng 2 choices. Union A at saka no union. No union is permanent. Laging andyan yan. To determine sa certification election. Okay? Pwede rin 3 choices. A, B, and no union. So ano po ang context nito? 3 or more choices. Ibig po sabihin nito, dapat may at least dalawa na unions plus no union. Yan po ibig sabihin ng 3 or more choices. In other words, dapat may dalawang competing unions. Yun lang yun. Okay, pinahirapan pa natin. Ibig lang sabihin yan, there must be 2 competing unions in the certification election. Or in other words, there must be 3 or more choices. What are the choices? 1 is no union and then the competing union. So 3 or more yan. Diba? Pwedeng 5, pwedeng 6, you get the point. Okay. Next, requisite. Three. No choice, obtain a majority. Ayan, sabi ko nga sa inyo, if no union, the choice of the no union choice, no? The no union choice obtain a majority of the valid votes cast. Tapos ang proceedings kasi may nanalo. If not, no choice obtain majority, posible magkaroon ng runoff election. So what's the last element? The total votes of all unions, no? At least 50%. Okay? So, ayan. Of the number of votes cast, no? So, ano po yung apat na... Pag gano'n, tanggalin ko ba ito? Ayan, okay, ayan. So, apat po yung requisites for there to be a runoff election. Valid election, malamang. Kasi pag walang valid election, tapos lahat yan. Failure of election ang sagot dyan. Magkakaroon tayo ng rerun within 6 months from the declaration of failure. Sabihin natin, valid yung election, tapos tayo dyan. Titingnan natin next is, ilan ba ang choices? Kapag union A at saka no union lang, walang run-off na mangyayari dyan. Okay? Pangatlo, dapat not one of the choices obtained a majority vote of the valid votes cast. Whether no union, whether union A, whether union B, whether union C, whether union C, D, not one of them obtained a majority. No? And lastly, ito pinakamadali na ito sa lahat. The total votes of all the contending unions must be at least 50%. No? Which is likely. Guys, likely yan. Example lang natin Sabihin natin A, B at saka no union lang. Ayan. Sabihin natin ang bumoto sa lahat, 1,000 votes. Ito lahat ng bumoto. Sabihin natin 1,000 bumoto, 1,500 yung collective bargaining unit, yung eligible members. Valid yung election, di ba? Sabihin natin ang boto ni A, 333. Ang boto ni B, 333. Ang boto ni No Union, 334. Valid yung election, yes. Kasi 1,000 ang bumoto out of 1,500. So majority. Di ba? Of the bargaining unit, bumoto. Next. Tatlo ba or more choices? Yes. There are 3 choices here. A, B, and no union. Ngayon, not one, no choice obtain majority. Yes. 333, 333, 334. Walang naka 501. Diba? And, pag tinotal mo do yung boto ng dalawang union, all unions, total votes ni A at saka ni B, at least 50%. In this case po, 66.67% yan. Ay, 66.66 pala. May 67 tuloy. Yan. Kasi 333 plus 333 is 666. Diba? Over 1,000. Ayun. Mahina ka. You get the point. Diba? 66 over 66%. Okay? So, ulitin ko. May winner na pa. Wala pa pong winner kasi walang naka-majority. Kasi parang even nga sila. No? Lumamang lang ng isa no union eh. Okay? Pero pag tinotal mo yung boto ni A at saka ni B, pareho sila, ito na obtain nila. So, pasok sila sa fourth requisite. So, there will be runoff election. O ngayon, sabihin natin, may runoff election talaga sa last na tayong scenario. No? Tapos, next topic na tayo. Sabihin natin, guys, mayroong runoff election. No? Pasok tayo sa apat na elements like this example. How will the runoff election be conducted? Ito yun, di ba? Runoff meron. How can there be a winner? Yan. Sa runoff election po, ang magiging choices lang, yung mga unions lang. Tatanggalin po natin. Pag sinabi mo kasi runoff, tatanggalin mo yung choice na no union. So sabihin natin, di ba tatlo choices initially? A, B, no union. Tatlo, di ba? Ano yung tally nila sa boto? 3-3-3, 3-3-4. Ay, ang pangit. Okay, ulit. Okay. Di ba tatlo choices? Ito lang. A, B, no union. Ang tally ni A, 3-3-3. Ang tally ni B, 3-3-3. Ang tally ni no union, NU, ayan, 3-3-4. So may runoff election kasi sabi nga natin earlier, all requisites, no? Sorry, taas yung ano ko. Ayan. Kasi sabi nga natin, all of the requisites, 4 requisites for runoff election present. Okay? So what will happen? Pag mag-runoff election tayo, i-delete nyo to. Ganyan ang runoff. I-delete ito. So sa runoff election, ang magiging choices lang po sa runoff, kaya nga runoff yan eh. Di ba? One more time. Third round. Dalawa na lang ang choices. Si A at saka si B na lang. Okay? And from there, whoever gets the higher number of votes will become the winner. Okay? Ano man yung vote na yan. Okay? Pwedeng 501, pwedeng 505, pwedeng 600, and so on. Whoever gets the highest number of votes in the runoff election, siya ang magiging SEBA. Pahirapin natin ngayon. Sabihin natin, 4 ang choices. A, B, C, and no union. Ang boto ni A, 250. Ang boto ni B, 250. Ang boto ni C, 250. Ang boto ni no union, 250. Ayan. Okay. Pwede mo magkaroon ng runoff. The answer is yes. Sabihin natin, valid ang election na. 1,000 out of 1,500 ang bumoto. May valid election. Okay. May 3 or more choices. Okay. Not, no one. No choice obtain majority. Okay. Diba? Kasi 250 lang sila eh. Tapos, 75% ang nakuha ng all unions. Diba? Diba dapat the total votes cast for all unions must be at least 50%. Diba? 75% to kasi 250, 250, 250, 750 over 1,000. Okay. So magkakaroon ngayon ng runoff. Attorney sa runoff ba, sino ang magiging magkakalaban dito? Dapat ba dalawa lang ang runoff? Not necessarily. Pwede pong 3. So sino po ba ang mga kandidato sa runoff election? Tandaan nyo to candidates that obtained the 2 highest number of votes in the election. 2 highest number of votes. So the first and the second placer will be the candidates in the run-off election. Attorney, paano in this case? Tied sila lahat. Eh di lahat sila kandidato. O pahirapan natin ng konti, baguhin natin. Sabihin natin, 252. Ayan. Tapos si B, 249. Si C, 249. 252 si A, 249, 249. Again, wala pong majority dyan kasi 250 is not 252 is not majority of 1K. Okay? So with that being said, kasali ba silang tatlo? Yes. Kasi tiebreakers are included sa two highest number. Eh pareho ng boto eh. Pareho kayong 249 ang boto eh. Di ba pwede tanggalin si C? That's unfair. Diba? Kailangan mo siyang isali kasi pareho sila ng boto ni B. So they were the second placers. Diba? And the second placer shall be included in the runoff. Eh, pag dalawa silang second placer, parang sa bar exam lang yan pag nag-top kayo, guys. Diba? Pag top 5 ka sa bar, hindi naman automatic isa lang yung top 5 eh. Diba? Pwedeng dalawa kayong 89.2 ang grade. O di dalawa kayong top 5. Diba? Hindi pwedeng isa dahil lang yung apelido niya mas malayo sa alphabet, gagawin mong top 6. Hindi ganun. Diba? Kaya nga po diba sa top 10 sa bar, kung top 10, di naman automatic na 10 lang yun. Minsan 12, minsan 13, minsan 14. Depende sa tiebreaker. Same thing po sa runoff election. Kung magkakaroon ng tiebreaker sa highest number of votes, sabihin natin, tatlo magiging kandidato. O attorney, paano baguhin natin? Sabihin natin, ganito. Attorney, what if 251, 251, at saka 248? Nako, mas mahirap to ah. Si A po at saka si B, pareho sila ng boto. Si letter C, 248. Si letter C ba kasali pa rin sa botohan? The answer is yes. Kasi si second highest eh. Diba? Sabi ko nga, two highest. Wait lang. Let's be precise with the wording, no? I'm sorry. Pati ako nalito. Okay, pag po ganito nangyari. Ayan. Yung nangyari po kasi kanina, 252, 248, 248. Hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin si third candidate kasi pareho siya ng boto dito kay second. So dapat tatlo silang kasali sa runoff. Eh paano kung ganito? 251, 251, 248. Kasali mo ba si 248? Sa runoff, the answer is no na. Okay? Kasi hindi naman unfair sa kanya na hindi isali. Kasi ito na ang dalawa, sila highest. Gets? Yun po kasi scenario natin kanina, the second placer, there were two second placers. Okay? Sa una nating scenario kanina, there were two second placers. Diba? So dapat yung dalawang second placers, ilalagay mo sa runoff. Ito pong scenario natin na to, dalawa ang first placers. It is not unfair to not include the second placer. Kasi hindi naman siya tied sa kanila in the first place. At based on their votes of dalawang 251, runoff na yan. Diba? They were the choices. They were the candidates with the highest number of votes already. At nakadalawa na tayo. Pwede na tayo mag-runoff. So in this scenario, only the two of them will join. Will be part of the runoff elections. Kasi nga, two highest number of votes sa sila. Okay? Sige. So, ulitin natin, no, from the choices, no, from the candidates, kung sino man ang pinakamataas na boto, yun na ang panalo. Sabihin natin, tatlo candidates. Ito lang, ayan. Tatlo candidates, di ba? O, runoff to. Yung isa, 400. Yung dalawa, 300. Yung 400, sana po ang winner. Kahit na hindi majority. Diba? Kasi sa runoff po, paramihan lang talaga ng boto. Hindi na po kailangan yung majority. Sa unang winner lang yun, sa second round lang yun. Sa third round, basta kasi na lang yung mas marami boto. I'll just make sure kung ito kung ano yan, kung ayos yan, no? Tandaan niyo sa runoff election, hindi po kasali ang no union. That's the purpose of the runoff election. Assuming na valid yung election at the total number of votes cast sa lahat ng mga unions, at least 50%, ang purpose po ng runoff election is tatanggalin natin yung no union na choice. Para malaman natin yung mga nag-no union, basically ito yung mga independent, ito yung mga independent thinkers, walang partido, okay? Para malaman natin kung sino ba talaga choice nila sa mga unions. No? Kasi ngayon baka gusto nila, wala talaga silang gusto sa dalawa, nag-no union sila. Sa runoff election, pipilitin na natin, sino ba talaga gusto nyo? No? Assuming na maka 50% yung total votes ka sa sa tawag dito, all of the unions. Okay? Okay, no? Mga kapatid, last topic tayo bago tayo mag-move on sa another subject, no? Ano na tayo? Tawag dito, valid strike. Okay? Guys, by the way, I like talaga tong format natin ngayon yung I like this format na nag-ano ako. Nag-whiteboard ako instead na naka-ano tayo. Yung naka-laptop lang ako, tinitingnan ko lang yung document, no? And discussing it to you. Ngayon po mas nakakontrol ko yung discussion and at the same time mas hindi siya nakakapagod, no? So, moving forward, I will do it like this, no? Hopefully, mas naiintindihan niyo yung sinasabi ko. Ngayon na nag-whiteboard ako lagi. No? Okay. Yung valid strike po, yung legalities and illegalities ng strike, ano po ito? Mas complicated siya. Okay? So ito po, no? 7 factors to determine the legality of the strike, no? So strike. So una natin titingnan, was there a labor dispute? Next, what's the purpose? Number 3, is the employee prohibited or allowed, no, to strike, no? At pwede ko na rin palang ipasok sa number 3 yung right to self-organization. We'll tackle later on. Number 4, were the requirements complied with, no? Ito po ang pinaka-technical sa lahat. Natanong ito recently sa bar. If my memory serves me right, anong bar year natanong itong number 4? Natanong ata ito nung ano? I need to confirm. Natanong yung valid strike nung 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2023. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 times po siyang natanong, no? At yung isa po sa mga tanong dito, no, out of all these years, dito po nag-focus, nag-dwell sa requirements. Diyan nag-dwell on, no? Anyway, nakalagay naman sa reviewer natin yan yung bar question about that. About dun sa requirements kung na-comply ba siya, nag-strike vote ba, ganyan. 2023 bar ata yun, no, recently lang. Okay. Next. Number 5. Was there assumption of jurisdiction? Assumption by the DOLE. 6. Were the means employed during the strike valid? And lastly, was there an agreement between the employee, between the union, between the SEBA and the employer not to strike or not to lock out? No strike, no lockout clause ang tawag dyan. Okay, simulan natin sa labor dispute. No? Was there a labor dispute in the first place? Okay? So, paano po magkakaroon ng strike? Tandaan nyo, dapat may labor dispute at dapat mayroong temporary stoppage of work. Okay? So, sabihin natin, may labor dispute pero hindi naman sila tumigil sa pagtatrabaho. Nagwelgalan sila pagkatapos ng trabaho nila, alas 7 na ng gabi. Hindi po strike yun. That is a valid right, no, of the employees to picket, no? Mag-picketing sa labas ng premises ng employer niya. Ano pong ano yan? Ano pong right yan under the Constitution? Freedom of assembly. Freedom of expression. Di ba? Kasali po dyan yun. No? They can do that. Okay? Pero, paano po nagkakaroon ng strike? May labor dispute at saka may temporary stoppage of work. So, dapat alas 2 ng tanghali, tumigil, biglang nagwelga sa labas. O, yun ang strike. Okay? So, what is labor dispute pala, no? Hindi ko nalagay sa reviewer to. Labor dispute. Wait. Okay, nahilo ako. Last, ano na pala, no? Okay. Ayan. Labor dispute includes any controversy concerning the terms, the tenure, condition of employment, association or representation of persons in negotiating, fixing, maintaining, changing, or seeking to arrange terms or conditions of employment. In other words, guys, pag narinig niyo yung salitang conditions of employment, terms and conditions of employment, at nagkaroon ng problema about that, labor dispute yan. Okay? Okay, sige. So, was there a labor dispute in the first place, no? Ito. Let's be precise about it pala. Sorry. I'm gonna do it one more time. Yeah. Labor dispute includes any controversy or matter concerning terms and conditions of employment or the association or representation of persons in negotiating, fixing, maintaining, changing, or arranging the terms and conditions of employment regardless of whether the disputants stand in the proximate relation of employer and employee. So, dun muna tayo sa first clause, no? Any controversy concerning terms and conditions of employment. Ano ba to? Basically, yung paano ba ang trabaho? Ano ba yung working hours? May uniforme ba? Paano yung time in and time out? Magkano sweldo? Lahat yan. Kailangan ba, pag ba security guard, bawal ba umupo? Yung mga ganyan. Terms and conditions of employment yan. Okay? Pwede bang mag-asawa? Empleyado? Terms and conditions of employment. Yun namang next clause. Or the association or representation of persons in negotiating, fixing. That term is negotiating. So yung problema about sa SEBA, against the employer, labor dispute yan. Okay? Negotiating, ayaw makipagnegosasyon ng employer do sa SEBA. Nagkaroon naman na ng valid election, ayaw niya makipag-usap. Labor dispute. Okay? Actually, refusal to bargain is an unfair labor practice. That's a labor dispute. Criminal case pa nga yan later on. Eh. Anyway, you get the point, no? So, dapat may labor dispute and temporary stoppage of work. We're done here. What's the purpose of the strike? Dalawa lang ang valid. ULP at saka bargaining deadlock. Alam niyo ni ULP, interfere, restrain, coerce the employee in the exercise of the right to self-organization. This is good. Bargaining deadlock, ano po yan? In short, impasse. May impasse in the negotiation of the CBA. Okay? who are prohibited employees, no, to conduct a strike. Tandaan nyo, yung mga prohibited, those employees who are prohibited to unionize are also prohibited to conduct a strike. Okay? The employees who are prohibited to unionize and to collectively bargain are also the employees who are prohibited to conduct a strike, no? So employees who are prohibited to unionize, to collectively bargain, are also prohibited to conduct a strike. Sino sila? Managerial employees, no? Cooperative employees who are also members of the cooperatives, no? Kasi they are also part owners of the cooperative. Why will they bargain against themselves, di ba? Ano pa? Government employees. Tandaan niyo to, no? Leonen case, no? Si Justice Leonen po ang ponente. Even GOCCs that are, whether the GOCC is unchartered or chartered, they cannot conduct a strike. Why? Because all employees of GOCC covered po sila nung salary table ng SSS. SSS. Ano po sila? Ano ba? Nalito na. Civil Service Commission. Covered po sila ng salary table. Okay? Anyway, I need to be precise with this one. Ayan. Covered po sila ng, ba't ba sinabi ko? Sorry, mali. Sinabi ko po yung CSC. Sinabi ko po yung Civil Service Commission. Covered po sila ng compensation and position classification system. Andito po sa system nato yung salary table. Whether GOCC ka na unchartered or chartered, yung empleyado, whether member ng GOCC na chartered or unchartered, part po sila ng system na to. So they cannot conduct a strike. Okay? Kasi yung pong terms and conditions ng kanilang, yung sweldo nila, nandun po sa system na yun. They cannot bargain for that. Okay? Next, employees of international organizations, no, of foreign embassies, they cannot. Why? Kasi political law concept po yan, di ba? Immunity from suit. Di ba? Par in parem, non habet imperium, di ba? Foreign states, di ba? And international organizations are immune from suit in the Philippines. Di ba? Okay. Sovereign equality of states. Yung pala hinahanap ko. Dami ko pong sinabing par in parem. Yung pala hinahanap ko. The doctrine of sovereign equality of states. So other states cannot be sued in our jurisdiction. So employees of international organizations, no, embassies, other nations, no, they cannot conduct a strike in the Philippines. May nakalimutan pa ba ako? Yes. Managerial employees cannot. And confidential employees. Who are the confidential employees in this case? These are employees who assist. Di ba? Assist, ano ba yun? In the field. Yan. Confidential employees are employees who, by the nature of their functions, no, assist or act in a confidential capacity to persons who formulate, determine, and execute policies that are related, no, in the field of labor relations. So sino po yung mga examples ng confidential employees? Yung sekretarya ng CEO, sekretarya ng COO, sekretarya ng CFO, sekretarya ng in-house counsel, sekretarya ng HR head. Sila po, confidential employees who cannot unionize and they cannot conduct a strike. Why? Because they assist persons who formulate management policies in the field of labor relations. Tandaan niyo po, ang CFO, kasali po yan sa pag-formulate ng management policies in the field of labor relations. Why? Kasi po, siya ang may ng pera eh. Siya ang nagko-control ng pera ng corporation. Ano ba ang ini-negotiate sa sa collective bargaining? Pera. Magkano ibibigay mo sa empleyado? Siyempre, may part ng CFO dyan. Magkano ba pwede natin ialat na pera sa mga empleyado natin? So, kasali po yung CFO sa mga gumagawa ng management policies in the field of labor relations. So, ang sekretarya ng CFO, hindi po siya pwedeng mag-conduct ng strike. Kasi nag-a-assist siya sa ano eh. Alam niyo po kung ano ibig sabihin ng assist? Paano ba nag-a-assist? Abay, sekretary, nakikita niyan yung reports, yung diskarte, di ba? Yung Excel file, nakikita niyan yung mga detalye, yung galaw, di ba? Nung boss niya. Kasi syempre, collective bargaining yan. Kapag yung confidential employee, pinag-unionize mo, magkaka-conflict of interest. So, sino ba talaga ang pinoprotektahan ni secretary? Alam niyo yung game plan nung management, alam niyo yung game plan ng union, ng SEBA. So, namamangka siya sa dalawang ilog. Di ba? So, basically, siya ang magiging susi kung sino man nanalo. Di ba? Kasi kung pabor siya sa management, sasabihin lang niya yung game plan ng SEBA. Siyempre, sa mga meetings ng SEBA, malalaman. No? Malalaman niya kung ano yung gustong gawin ng SEBA. Sasabihin niya doon sa management. And the same way, kung gusto niya manalo yung SEBA, sa collective bargaining, makuha lahat ng demands, sasabihin niya lahat ng game plan ng management. So talagang hindi sila pinapayagan. Okay? Pero yung secretary ng head of marketing, head of sales, head of ano ba, IT, head of ano pa ba? Head of customer support, mga ganyan. Hindi po sila prohibited to unionize and to conduct a strike kasi yung pong boss nila hindi naman po nag-effectuate, nagpo-formulate, nagde-determine ng management policies in the field of labor relations. Kapag marketing head ka, ang pina-formulate mong policy, marketing. Pag sales head ka, sales. Diba? IT, IT. Customer support, customer support. Diba? You do not, the boss no, does not formulate policies for labor relations. No? Walang CBA dyan. You get the point? Okay. So, ano pa ba? Sige. Ambulant, intermittent, itinerant, self-employed workers, and workers without definite employers also. Ayan. Paano silang mag-collectively bargain? Workers without definite employers nga sila. Okay. Let's go back here. No? So, requirements. Ihuli pala natin yung, ihuli natin yung pinakamahirap yun eh. Assumption of jurisdiction by the DOLE. Tandaan nyo, if the DOLE, when will the DOLE secretary assume jurisdiction? If the industry na nagkaroon ng strike, no, is indispensable to national interest. Okay? Yan po, how can we determine if the industry is indispensable, no, to national interest? In this, wait lang ah. How do we determine if indispensable siya o dispensable? Depende po yan sa opinion ni Dole Secretary. No? Pero sa rules po natin, meron pong in-enumerate no, ng mga industries indispensable to national industry like hospital, electric power, water supply, air traffic, such other industries as may be recommended by the National Tripartite Industrial Peace Council. No? So, healthcare, electric power, water supply, air traffic control, no? Yan po, uh, industries indispensable to national interest. Titingnan ko po kung yung education sector. Tingnan natin. Sige. Let's check kung yung education sector kasali. No? Ayan. Sorry. Wag na pala education. Ito, nakalagay. Industries that are indispensable to the national interest are those essential industries such as banks. O, ayan. And export-oriented industries. O, ayan. In the case of Sakuro versus Coca-Cola Bottlers Philippines. O, ayan, nakapagdagdag tayo, bangko at saka export-oriented industries, no? Okay, nag-doubt pa ako. Ito na nga pala, school nga. Nag-doubt pa ako, tama naman pala ako, education sector. Ito, no? Philippine School of Business Administration case, no? PSBA 1988 case. Philippine PSBA versus Acting Secretary Noriel. O, ayan. Ayan. There is no doubt that the ongoing labor dispute at the school adversely affects the national interest. So, ayan. So, education sector din po, no? Universities, national, indispensable din po siya to natural, indispensable din siya sa national interest, no? Pero tandaan nyo na lang po yung nasa DO number 40H13, no? Hayaan na natin yung mga nasa jurisprudence, no? Idagdag nyo na lang yun sa isip nyo, yung banks, no? Hindi, wag nyo palang hayaan, nasabi ko naman na sa inyo, banks, export-oriented industries at saka schools, no? Dagdag nyo yan, hospital, ito pa, electric power, water, basically, uh, utilities, no? Air traffic, such other industries, no? Tinan ko, isa pa, telecom company. For sure naman to, guys, no? I mean, pag public utility for the most part, ano talaga eh, industry affected, industry indispensable to national interest talaga, no? Like yung telecom. I'm sure, pag ganyan yung tanong sa inyo kung telecom yung nilagay, and the Department of, the Secretary of Labor assumes jurisdiction, the answer is indispensable siya to national interest. Kasi nga, nakalagay naman po sa kaso, no, in the case of PIL, PIDL, ay di pala, Philtranco pala yan. No? Ano rito typo. Philtranco Service Enterprises versus Philtranco Workers Union Association. Okay? Nakalagay po dyan, no? The power of the Secretary of Labor to assume jurisdiction, no? Over a labor dispute uh, causing a strike in an industry indispensable to national interest is plenary and discretionary in nature, no? Plenary and discretionary, it is broad. Okay, so kung nag-assume po ng jurisdiction yung Dole Secretary dun sa labor dispute na dahil may strike, meron po siyang plenary power and discretionary power to determine na, okay, indispensable yan for you. So hindi po pala tayo beholden, hindi tayo restricted doon sa listahan, doon sa DO number 40H313. Okay? I will add this na lang sa ano natin. I will add this sa notes pala, no. However, ayan, broad yung power, no. The ano, full authority. Okay, let's move. Okay, next. Pag nag-assume po ng jurisdiction yung dole secretary, ano ang effect? If wala pang strike, dapat status quo. No? There will be no strike, no? It automatically enjoins an impending strike and automatically orders the employer to maintain the status quo. In other words, status quo tayo. Walang strike, walang lockout, tuloy ang trabaho. Okay? Kasi nga indispensable siya to national interest. What if there is a strike already? What are the effects? First is, the striking workers, they will be ordered immediately to return to work. RTW, ready to wear. Joke lang. Ready, dapat, they have to return to work. They are ordered to return to work. Okay? And the employer must resume operations. Resume tayo ng trabaho. And they must readmit the workers under the same terms and conditions prevailing before the conduct strike. Okay? So, doon muna po tayo sa una. The striking workers are ordered to return to work. Attorney, what if they violated? They did not obey the order of the Secretary of Labor. What's the effect? They can be terminated from employment because they violated the order of the DOLE Secretary. O, attorney, ito naman po yung sa employer. No? Di ba sabi they have to readmit? No? They have to readmit the employees and they must readmit them in the same terms and conditions, no? Prevailing before the strike. Pwede po ba siyang mag-payroll reinstatement lang? Payroll lang? Basically, sumasweldo kayo, pwede kayo bumalik sa opisina. Pwede ba yun? No. Sabi po kasi ng law, same terms and conditions. Dahil same terms and conditions yan, dapat, kung actual na nagtatrabaho yan before, actual na, pagtatrabahuhin mo ulit. Why? Kasi nga ang wisdom is indispensable sa national interest yung business nyo. Hospital yan, sabihin natin. Hindi mo pwedeng ipay-payroll reinstatement yung nurse. Kasi pag pinayroll reinstatement mo yan, kulang yung nurse. Diba? Hindi nyo na-serve yung national interest dahil nag-payroll statement yung employer. Kasi wala pa rin tao dun sa loob ng ospital. Yan po ang sense. Okay, yan pala, no? That's what I'm trying to provide you. Bakit kailangan, no? I give you reason as to why the effects are these. Kasi nga indispensable ka to national interest, no? Wag niyo nang isipin yung sarili niyo. Isipin niyo yung publiko. Kapag nag-payroll reinstatement ka lang, hindi nadagdagan yung healthcare worker sa loob. Paano pag maraming pasyente? Nga, di ba? So, dapat, kung ano yung terms and conditions before the conduct of strike, dapat yun ang magiging terms and conditions once in-order ka ng Secretary of Labor. Hindi pwede payroll. Dapat actual. Okay? Sige. Attorney, no? Paano kapag nag-payroll reinstatement yung employer, no? In violation of the order of the Department of Labor, Secretary of Labor. What's the remedy? Nako, medyo hirap. Pwede tayong mag-article 128. Yan. Article 128. Visitorial power. Okay? Kasi in this case naman po, may employer-employee relationship naman. It's just that, yung mga empleyado, na-strike pa din. Di ba? Pinayroll lang, empleyado nga no? Dahil sa strike, na-payroll reinstatement sila. No? Bawal nga yan, di ba? Gusto ng mga empleyado magtrabaho talaga. Okay, para nga sa publiko, no? Kasi national interest. Ngayon, ano remedy nila? Ayaw sila pabalikin talaga actually sa trabaho. Ipa-inspect nila. Tawag sila sa DOLE, ipa-inspect nila yung ospital. Visitorial power. Kapag pumunta dyan yung regional director, nakita, piniyolate statement may mga nag-strike na worker, mali yan. Mag-i-issue ng compliance order. Yung DOLE secretary. Oh, di ba? Ngayon, magkakaroon ka na ng may kagat na. Di ba? May sanctions na yan kapag hindi nag-comply yung employer, no, sa mga pangyayari na yan, no? Okay. Ihuli natin to, requirements. O, itong agreement. May agreement ng no lockout, no strike clause. O, di ka pwede mag-strike, di ka pwede mag-lockout. No? Unless unfair labor practice. If may agreement, you cannot strike, you cannot lock out. Lock out is yung employer. Ni-lock out, huwag kayo magtrabaho. Okay. Pag strike naman, 7 employees, ayaw na yung magtrabaho. Pag sila mong lockout, ikinandado ng employer yung opisina. Okay. Get it? O, sige. However, this only applies, yung agreement ng no strikeout, no lockout clause, this only applies to bargaining deadlocks. Kapag ULP yan, interfere, restrain, coerce, right to self-organization, strike, pwede pa rin magpunta. Okay? O ngayon, bago natin itakal yung number 6, itakal natin yung number 4. Kasi para malaman natin, yung number 6, kailangan malaman, magpinsan yan. Okay? Para malaman natin yung number 6, yung buong picture ng number 6, kailangan alam natin kung na-violate pa o hindi yung requirements under the law bago mag-conduct ng strike. Okay. Reiterates everything kasi maraming requirements. Okay. So, ano yung mga requirements, no? So, una is, magpa-file ka ng notice to strike. No, wait lang. Para precise lang tayo, babalik ako. O, di ba, una mo requirement, notice to strike. Strike na lang tayo. Huwag na tayo sa lockout. Strike na lang tayo kasi mas madalas ang strike, no? Next, cooling off period. Cool off muna, kapatid. No? Next, strike vote. Next, submit the strike vote report. At saka lastly, 7-day strike ban. Yan ang mga requirements under the law before strike can be conducted. O, so notice to strike, dapat magpapile ka ng notice to strike saan? Sa DOLE. Okay? Kailangan malaman ng DOLE na may intensyon ka mag-strike. Hindi pwede mag-i-strike ka out of nowhere. Okay? Illegal strike yun. Okay? At pag illegal ang strike, may matatanggalan talaga ng trabaho. Kung sino man yan, yun ang aalamin natin sa number 6. Okay? Pero may matatanggal ng trabaho dyan. Okay? Tandaan nyo, pag illegal ang strike, pwedeng may matatanggal ng trabaho or pwedeng lahat matatanggal ng trabaho. Okay? Pero mayroong matatanggal. Some or all. Hindi pwedeng none pag illegal ang strike. Okay, next. Cooling off period. May tatlong scenarios dito. Cooling off period kapag bargaining deadlock, cooling off period kapag ULP, at paano pag union busting. Kapag bargaining deadlock, 30 days. From the filing of the notice to strike, 30 days dapat hindi ka mag-conduct ng kahit anong strike. Counted from the filing of the notice. Okay. Hindi pala, mali. 30 days before the intended date of strike. Hindi pala filing of notice. After the filing of notice, okay, there must be a cooling off period. For bargaining deadlock, it must be 30 days before the intended date of strike. Kung sabihin natin, intended date mo is dito. Intended date mo is June 30. Dapat, ang cooling off period mo, mag-i-start ka ng, yes, May 31. Tama. 31. Tapos 1 hanggang 29. 30 days. No? 30 days before, di ba? 30 days before the intended date of strike. Kasi sa June 30 na yung date of strike. Intended date of strike. O di sa May 31, pasok. May 31 hanggang June 29, 30 days yan. Pasok. 31st day yung June 30. Pag-strike, pwede yun. O kapag ULP, interfere, restrain, coerce, right of self-organization, 15 days lang. Mag-union busting, no day. Di kailangan. Bakit? Ano mo ba ang union busting? Union busting, ULP din yan. Pero mas grabing type of ULP yan. Kasi pag sinabi mo kasing ULP lang, pwede nag-restrain ka lang ng right to self-organization. Pero pag sinabi mong union busting, ang binabanata mo na talaga dyan, yung officers ng union. Okay, so what is union busting? Okay? There is union busting in case there was dismissal of duly elected union officers and the existence of the union is threatened. Malamang, tinanggal mo yung leader ng union, edi masisira union na yan. Union busting yan. Likely, yung union, malamang, sino ba union officer sa tinutukoy dito? Yung union officers ng SEBA. Kasi ang makakapag-conduct lang naman ng normally, no? Sino ba ang nakakapag-conduct ng before pala? Who can conduct strikes? Kapag bargaining deadlock, yung SEBA lang. Kapag ULP, any legitimate labor organization. So, ano pala, wag natin practical. No? Ulitin ko, sino ang makapag-conduct ng strike kapag bargaining deadlock? Siyempre, SEBA lang. Kasi SEBA lang ang pwedeng collectively bargain with the employer. Pero pag ULP yan, any legitimate labor organization or any legitimate labor union, pwedeng mag-strike. Pero siyempre, for practicality purposes, for pasimplihin natin ano ba nangyayari in real life, normally. Siyempre, ang union busting mo, yung SEBA, kasi yun ang may kagat yun ang maraming miyembro. Diba? So, pag nagkaroon ng union busting, sino binabanata normally yung SEBA? SEBA sila. Nagkaroon ng away sa collective bargaining negotiation. Ano ginawa ng employer? Tinanggal lahat ng union officer. Ngayon, na-threaten yung existence ng SEBA. 0 days. Okay, dito. 0. 15-0. Okay? We're good. After nun, during the ito naman ang so attorney, yung bang 30-day, yung bang strike vote kailangan gawin after 30 days or after 15 days or after whatever, no? After 15 days, after 30 days. Saka lang ba magkakaroon ng strike vote, no? Tandaan nyo to. During the cooling off period, pwede nang mag-conduct ng strike vote. Okay? During the cooling off period, pwede na mag-strike vote. Paano ba magkakaroon ng Paano ba magkakaroon ng strike? Sa strike vote, dapat majority of the total union membership in the bargaining unit concerned. Okay? Majority sinabi nila mag-strike tayo. Okay? Attorney, pag ba sa strike vote, yung members lang ng SEBA boboto? O lahat boboto? Lahat boboto. Ang sabi po sa batas natin, total union membership in the bargaining unit concerned. Hindi sinabing total membership of the sole and exclusive bargaining agent. Ang sinabi, in the bargaining unit concerned. So lahat. So lahat ng rank and file employees, kung isa lang sila ng bargaining unit, lahat sila boboto dyan. Pag majority sinabi, we strike, patay tayo. Strike vote, okay. Sige. After po magkaroon ng strike vote, ipa-file mo yung strike vote report. Saan mo siya ipa-file? Sa secretary ulit. Okay? And the strike must not be held at least 7 days before the intended date of strike. Okay, tandaan natin, ulitin ko, yung okay. Yan pong strike vote, pwede siyang gawin during the 30-day period kung bargaining deadlock yan. Okay? Pwede siyang gawin, no? Same thing yung filing, no? Pati yung 7-day strike ban. Okay? So, after po nun, comply na lahat yan, pwede na mag-strike. Okay? Attorney, paano nga pag-union busting? Di ba 0 days ang cooling off period? Paano po yung next requirement? Magkakaroon pa rin dapat ng strike vote pag mag-union busting. Kahit union busting yan, magkakaroon pa rin ng strike vote. At kailangan i-file pa rin yung strike vote report. Tapos yung 7-day strike ban, kailangan pa rin ma-comply. So sabihin natin, di ba sa union busting, 0 ang cooling off period. Di ba? Sa 7 days, kailangan pa rin i-comply yung 7 days. So sabihin natin, na-accomplish niya na. Na-accomplish niya lahat, yung strike vote, tapos yung filing ng strike vote, na-accomplish niya ng May 31. Bibilang pa siya ng 7 days. Okay? Bibilang pa po siya ng 7 days bago siya makapag-strike. Okay, 7 days strike ban pa din. So sabihin natin, na-comply niya lahat ng May 31, bilang pa tayo ng 7 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 31, 1, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. O yun. Makakapag-conduct kung ano, no, May 31 yung unang bilang natin ng araw. Sa June 7 pa siya makakapag-conduct ng strike. 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, on the, ayun, 7 days yun, di ba? Before the day of the intended strike. O nung pang 8, doon yung June 7. Tsaka pala siya makakapag-strike ng June 7. Okay? Kahit po union busting. Bakit ganun, no? Iba po kasi ang purpose ng cooling off period sa 7-day strike ban. Ang purpose po ng cooling off period is for the parties concerned, no? Baka kasi kaya pa naman pag-usapan 'to, no? Basically, yung cooling off period, this is the time where the parties can amicably settle, to peacefully resolve the dispute, no? Eh paano kung hindi talaga ma-resolve? Ala, okay, no? At least binigyan niyo ng chance, parang ano lang, mag-couple lang, no? Binigyan niya ng chance. Nag-cooling off muna kayo bago kayo nag-break up, bago kayo mag-strike. Same thing dito. No? Para naman po saan yung 7-day strike ban? Actually, hindi na po siya para sa parties concerned. Para na po siya kay Dole. No? Kasi nag-file ka ng notice to strike, nag-file ka ng strike vote report, bigyan natin ng opportunity ng tamang panahon, ng enough na panahon, yung Dole na i-check. Kinomply nyo ba ang requirements under the law? Bigyan natin sila ng 1 linggo. Yan po ang wisdom. Okay? Ng 7-day strike ban na yan. Okay? Wait lang ha. Yes, no? The strike vote report is needed to ensure that majority of the members actually want to strike. Okay? Further, the purpose of the 7-day strike ban is to give the DOLE an opportunity to verify the majority votes were obtained. Okay? Fimco Industries versus Fimco Industrial Labor Association, 2010 case, no? Further, it is a reasonable and valid restriction on the right to strike because it is a valid exercise of police power. Okay, so ayan, ulitin natin, no? The strike voting and the filing, I'm sorry, no? Ay, mali ako dito, no? Sabi ko yung 7-day, hindi ko pala naman sinabi before. I would just like to clarify. Okay. Kapag union busting, di ba walang cooling off period? So, 0. So, pag na-file mo yung filing ka ng strike vote report, Bibilang ka lang ng 7 days. After nun, pwede na mag-strike. Okay? Pero paano kapag collective, pag bargaining deadlock at saka pag ULP strike yan, hindi naman union busting. When will we count the 7-day period? In the case of NSFW versus Ovejera, the 7-day strike ban shall be counted from the day following the expiration of the cooling off period. So mali pala ako kanina yun pala. Sabi ko kanina 30 days, no? Tapos pwede na mag-strike. Hindi ganun. Okay? Sabihin natin, cooling off period mo 30 days. Bibilang ka pa ng plus 7. Okay? Saka ka pala pwedeng mag-strike. Ayun, yun lang pala yung point ko. Therefore, the computation is, for bargaining deadlock, the computation is always 30 plus 7. Okay? 37 days before the intended date of strike. So, on the 38 days, saka ka makakapag-strike. I need to include this sa sa notes natin. Okay, we're good. So, ganun, no? Yan po yung mga requirements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 requirements. No? So, notice to strike, cooling off period, strike vote report, 7-day strike ban. Attorneys, ang tayo pwedeng matanong dito? Usually nga, ang tanong sa inyo sa bar, nag-strike na lang kabud eh. That's the easier question. Nag-strike na lang kabud, hindi finalo yung requirements. Illegal strike yun. Okay? Illegal strike yun. Kung illegal ang strike, may matatanggal na sa trabaho dyan. Yun nga yung number 6 question natin dito. Okay? So, paano pag pahihirapan kayo? Saan kayo tatanungin? Una, sa cooling off period. Okay? In-observe by cooling off period o hindi. Mas simple yun. Makikita nyo naman dyan, no? Pag bargaining deadlock, tapos 25 days pa lang nag-conduct na ng strike, illegal strike. Okay? Kasi 30 days plus 7 nga. O mas mahirap, tatanungin kayo about sa nag-observe ng cooling off period, pero hindi nag-strike vote. Okay. Or next naman, nag-file ng notice to strike, nag-cooling off period, nag-strike vote, pero hindi po final yung strike vote report. Illegal yung strike. Why? Because the DOLE has will have nothing. Will have nothing to determine if majority talaga ng members in the bargaining unit concerned actually wanted the strike. How can they determine the veracity of that claim na lahat talaga kayo gusto niyo mag-strike? And lastly, pag hindi kinumply yung 7-day strike ban, no? Sabihin natin, nag-conduct ng strike vote, nag-file ng strike vote report within the 30-day period. Pero on the 31st day, nag-strike na agad. Illegal strike din siya. Okay? Kasi dapat yung 7-day strike ban, ika-count mo siya from the day following the expiration of the 7-day cooling off period. Next tayo sa means valid dito. Were the means and methods in conducting the strike valid? So may mga senaryo po dyan. Tandaan niyo po, ito lang, top of my head din. Tandaan niyo po. Wait lang. Naisula na yung shorts ko. Okay. Ayan, last na tong topic, no? Tandaan niyo po, sa illegal, sa strike po, may dalawa dyan. Illegal strike at saka illegal acts. Okay. Ano po ang example ng illegal acts? The violent conduct during the strike. Nananakit, nananapok, nananadyak, ano pa? Binabarahan yung ingress at saka egress dun sa company premises. Illegal act po yun. Tandaan nyo ha. Pag nag-i-strike ka, hindi mo pwedeng, kasi di ba, nag-temporary stoppage of work ka. hindi porke tumigil ka ng trabaho, titigil na rin yung kumpanya. Tandaan nyo yan. Hindi porke tumigil ka ng trabaho as a striking worker, may right ka ng tigilan yung kumpanya na mag-conduct ng business. Tandaan nyo, ang kumpanya po, they have the right to hire replacements. Habang nag-i-strike kayo, they can hire replacements. No? Yung mga papalit muna sa inyo hanggat nag-i-strike kayo. Okay? Pag binarahan mo yan, no? Binlock mo yung ingress at saka egress sa kumpanya, that is illegal act. Okay? I need to, ayan. Ano pa? Sa highway kayo nag-strike. Illegal act yun. Okay? Ba't kung mag-conduct kayo ng strike? Sa company premises. Company premises, huwag kayong gagawa ng violence, intimidation, coercion. Huwag niyong babarahan yung entrance at saka exit. And at the same time, huwag niyong dalhin sa kalsada yung problema. Illegal act po yan. Tama naman yun. It makes sense. No? Ba't mo dadalhin sa kalsada? Hindi naman yung gobyerno empleyado mo. Okay? All of these things illegal acts. Tandaan nyo, all who committed illegal acts dismissed. Ganun kasimple, guys. Pag gumawa ka ng illegal act during the strike, whether officer ka ng union or member ka lang ng union, no? Pareho kang empleyado dyan, di ba? Both of you will be terminated, dismissed from your job. Paano naman po kapag illegal strike lang? Sabihin natin, nag-strike, pero hindi naman bargaining deadlock. Hindi rin naman ULP. Nag-strike sila kahit di sila SEBA, tapos wala namang ULP. Okay. Basically, in other words, ganito, no? Let's make it simple. Sabi nung nag-strike, nung union, bargaining deadlock daw ang purpose nila. Pero hindi sila SEBA. That is an illegal strike because there's no purpose. The purpose was improper. You can only conduct a strike based on bargaining deadlock if you are the SEBA. Ang tawag dyan is, ang tawag dito, economic strike. No? Hindi ko na nilagay sa reviewer natin. No? Pampahirap pa. Anyway, dagdag ko na lang din tidbit. No? Ang tawag po, pag bargaining deadlock strike, another word for that is wait lang. Nawala din dito. Oo, tama. Economic strike. No? Tapos kapag isa ULP strike. So ito, nag-conduct ng non-SEBA, not SEBA, nag-conduct ng economic strike. Invalid yung purpose. So in that sense, illegal po yung strike. Who will be dismissed from employment? The union officers only. Dismissed. But the participating members, participating workers, wag palang members. Wag palang members, participating workers. No, not dismissed, guys. So ano po ibig sabihin nito? Pag kasi union officer ka, ang presumption is alam mo talaga, back of your, basically, memorize mo talaga, kabisado mo, master mo, yung requirements para magkaroon ng valid strike. Pati yung technicalities in the procedure. Pag nagkaroon ng problema dyan, at naging illegal strike, at tanggal ka sa trabaho. Okay? On the other hand, kapag worker ka, hindi ganun. Hindi ganun katindi ang requirement ng batas sa'yo. Okay? As long as wag kang pag hindi ka gumawa ng illegal acts during the strike, hindi ka matatanggalan ng trabaho. Kung sumali ka man at illegal yung strike, hindi ka matatanggal sa trabaho. Okay? Ayan. The employer may be authorized to terminate the employment of union officers who knowingly participated in the illegal strike or in the commission of illegal acts. No, kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo, pag illegal acts, all will be terminated, whether union officer or worker. Tuloy pala natin yung provision muna. Union officers who knowingly participated in the illegal strike or illegal act. Or, and pala, any worker who knowingly participated in the illegal acts. So ulitin ko, kapag worker, hindi ka union officer, illegal acts ka lang matatanggalan ng trabaho. Pero kapag union officer ka, illegal strike, tanggal trabaho. Kung legal man yung strike, pero nag-commit ka ng illegal acts during the strike, legal lahat, kinumply nyo lahat ng requirements, pero nanunto kayo. Nanunto ka. During the strike, tanggal ka rin sa trabaho. Union officer. Okay, so union officer, dapat legal ang strike at hindi ka magpa-participate sa illegal acts. Kung illegal yung strike, kasi mali purpose, mali requirements, no? May no strike out, may no strike out, may no strike, no lockout clause, and so on. Tanggal ka sa trabaho. Okay? Remember that. Sa ganyan, no? Illegal strike only. Union officer dismissed. Okay. Workers not dismissed. Illegal acts like violence, coercion, intimidation, binlock yung ingress at saka egress at saka sa public thoroughfares. Halito sinulat ka na yan. Okay. Violence, coercion, intimidation, force, yan. Blocking the ingress, egress in the company premises and blocking the public thoroughfares, illegal acts. All who participated in those illegal acts will be terminated from employment. This ends my lecture for labor law pre-week, no? Makita pa tayo sa iba pang mga discussions natin, no? Lahat naman ng subjects ka-cover ko ngayon pre-week, no? Which is kaya ko naman kasi pre-week lang to, hindi naman to yung full-scale lecture. Kasi pag full-scale lecture po talaga, I cannot do everything. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, I'm not an expert of everything. I'm not an expert of anything nga. Hindi ko naman kinoconsider na expert ako of something. No? What I'm trying to offer to you guys is simplicity. No? Kasi I think that's the thing that's lacking. No? Sa discussion natin sa law, no? We already have all of us, no? Nakabasa na po ng in-depth discussion. Lahat, whether sa material, sa lectures, no, voice recordings, lahat. Nakarinig na po tayo ng in-depth discussion ng batas. No? Pero ang parang nakita kong gap sa legal education, simplicity. No? So that's where I come in, guys. No? I will not say I'm an expert of everything, of anything, actually. No. My only job here is to make things simple for you to the best of my abilities. And kung lahat ng subjects na full discussion, I cannot do that. No, kasi at some point may limitations talaga yung energy ko and at the same time, yung kaalaman ko rin. No, kasi I cannot make everything simple. Kasi at some point talaga, kailangan mo ng familiarity dun sa topic talaga. And maganda understanding mo dun sa topic. Like, halimbawa sa tax. I cannot make a full discussion for that. Hindi ko kaya yun. Okay? Kasi kailangan talaga dyan, yung magaling talaga sa taxation law. Not necessarily CPA, pero dapat talaga bihasa sa taxation law. Okay? Yun, no? Even sa commercial law, di ba? Kasi yung commercial law, obscure topics, no? AMLA, bank secrecy, no? Ano pa ba? PDIC, diba? General banking law, very obscure yung mga topics, uncommon siya to the common person. No? So, yung mga ganyan topics, I can make things simple sa pre-week sa inyo. So, I can do everything there. Pero sa full scale discussion talaga, pipiliin ko talaga yung topics where I feel na nasa home court ako. Home court ko siya, like remedial. Napansin ko medyo home court ko siya. No? Criminal law 1, no? Criminal law 2 kasi not so much pa, no? I need to master pa yung child abuse. No, kasi medyo technical talaga yung child abuse law na yan, yung interplay ng revised penal code sa child abuse. Kailangan iayos pa yan, no, para maging makapag-discuss ako in full length ng criminal law. No. SIPRA, kailangan i-familiarize ko talaga yung sarili ko sa bagong canons, di ba? Yun lang naman, no? So, ako, ngayong taon na to, no, I hope you pass the bar, di na tayo magkita ulit. Kung magkikita man tayo soon sa coffee shop na lang, I hope, no, maipasa nyo lahat yung bar exam. No? Pero ito po, no, sa mga nakikinig din sa akin ngayon na hindi magte-take na lang ng bar this year. Ayan. They chose to take the bar next year. Next year, mapapansin niyo po, ibang-iba na yung style ng kasi first year natin to sa second year natin, there will be a lot of improvements, no, sa ginagawa natin. Ang una kong gustong mangyari talaga, which sana magawa ko, no, hindi ko na ipapangako sa lahat. Kapag nag-conduct ako ng lecture ko next time, ako lang ha, pre-recorded pa rin siya, pero ibibigay ko sa inyo yung location kung saan ako mag-record. I will give the location or I will record. Pero pre-recorded pa rin siya. Okay, so don't expect na live lahat, no? So yung mga kukunin nating lecturers, pre-recorded pa rin yung sessions nila. Pero as for me, you will have a chance to meet me in person. Okay, so kung gusto niyo may tanong kayo sa akin about other topics, other law subjects, you can do that pag nakita tayo in person. But the purpose of that yung meeting natin yun, pre-recorded session pa din. So mayroon pa rin ako recording, may camera pa rin ako to upload online. Okay. That's the first thing na magiging improvement. Second thing, na improvement, no, sa mga magte-take next year. No? Yung mga di magte-take this year. Kasi ang assumption natin sa mga magte-take ng bar this year, pasado kayo lahat. No? Next, kasi isa pa is, I will do to the best of my abilities na yung team ko, magawa namin lahat all subjects. Hindi ko pinapangako ito, no. I'm not promising this, but my goal, no. Susurpresahin ko na lang kayo kung magagawa ko. My goal is to make full reviewers for all 8 subjects. Again, the reviewers are the same as my discussions. Hindi ko kailangang ibigay sa inyo everything under the sun na parang expert talaga na lahat ng pwedeng sulok nung law, matatakel ko. I cannot do that because I'm not an expert of anything as I said. No. But what I can do is make things simple for you. For the purposes of the bar. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo, approach natin, unang-una stats-based. May bar stats tayo. Shares cases kompleto. Okay? And on top of that, may own examples ako nilalagay. Diba? All geared towards, at saka syempre, nakapasa rin ako ng bar. Okay? And all of these are geared towards paano ba tayo matutulungan sa bar exams? How do we make things simpler for ourselves? Kasi as I said, you have enough materials already. Ang kailangan nyo, yung pang simple. Basically, yung pang ano, pang pa-smooth, no? Basically yung palitada na kailangan nyo, no? Meron na kayo enough laman, basically, na na kayo, na semento na kayo talaga, no? Sementado na, enough na yung amount ng info na nabasa nyo throughout these years, from first year to fourth year to bar season. Enough na. Ang kailangan nyo ngayon talaga, finishing touches, no? Tapos na tayo sa semento stage, sa hollow block stage. Ang stage na natin ngayon, ililinis na natin lahat. So, kailangan nyo simplicity. That's where I come in. And all of the reviewers that will be done by me will have the same theme. Iba man yung subject, but everything will be geared towards simplicity and so many examples. Yun naman talaga ang bread and butter natin eh. We provide so many examples, whether from chairs cases, whether from bar Q&A, whether from my own creations. But hindi pwedeng walang maraming examples like this one. Di ba? Even this, hindi naman pala nasasakal examples but scenarios. Process. How do we make sense of a process? How do we make sense of conditions? Step-by-step procedure para magkaroon ng valid election. Ganun ang dira. Lahat, hindi ko pinapromise na magagawa ko, so hindi ko siya ilalagay sa inclusions. So, surpresahin ko na lang kayo kung magagawa ko. Sa inclusions, hindi ko siya ilalagay. Okay? I will finalize the inclusions for that, for next year. Pero gugulatin ko kayo kung magagawa ko siya. Kung magagawa ko lang naman, I hope I can. Kasi yung bar Q&A ko, tapos lahat eh. 8. No? Tapos yung pre-week at saka yung LMT, magagawa din namin lahat. All 8. 'Di ba? Kailangan lang ng modifications yan every year depende sa bar stats, kung magdadagdag kami, magbabawas kami. Sa bar Q&A, 'di ba? At saka sa chairs cases, konting ano siya, modifications. Pero ando na yung backbone ng pre-week at saka ng LMT. So ang kulang na lang talaga next year yung complete set basically ng reviewers. Simplified. No? Sana magawa ko, no? Para better for everyone. Okay. Not only me, but to all of you na magte-take ng bar next year. Gusto ko lang sabihin ngayon, no? Baka makalimutan ko pa. Ayan. Tapos, other than that, sa lecturers, napansin ko, no? Yun namang quality ng lecturer, it's subjective. Yan ang napansin ko. Some students, some enrollees, some mentees will not find my discussion helpful. Kasi gusto nila yung mas malalim talaga. Yung everything under the sun talaga nako-cover. That's fine. Again, the quality of the lecture is subjective. No? What is good to you may not be good to the other person. So, ang napansin ko po ngayong first year ko, no, parang nag-vlog na rin ako sa inyo, no, ito, buti nilike ko siya sa huli, no, anecdote na lang to kung ayaw niyong pakinggan, you can skip the, ano na, this part na, no, pero natakal ko naman na lahat, straight to the point, yung lahat ng mga discussions natin previously. Gusto ko lang sana i-document so far in journey ko, no, as, as the review director nitong review center. Napansin ko, no, sa review center, quality is subjective. Ang kailangan ko pala ano, more than anything, pag magkukuha ka ng services ng isang lecturer, reliability ang pinaka-important na trait na kailangan mong hanapin, no? Kailangan if you have 20 lecturers, no? Ganoon tayo eh. Rounding off no, may mga natanggal na iba pero almost 20 people ang naging lecturers natin. Kung 20 man sila, you need 20 reliable people. Okay? Parang pag sinabi mo na this is the deadline ng pagbigay ng subjects, ng lectures, and the materials, tapos. No? Whatever man yung material na yan, whatever man yung lecture na yan, it must be finished. That's the first thing. Yun dapat yung basically floor. That's the first trait that kailangan mong hanapin, no, do sa lecturer. No? At of course, that's easier said than done kasi syempre, mga abogado rin ang kausap natin, no? Minsan nakakakaba rin kausapin at matataas na tao din, no? Lawyer, siyempre, di ba? So, get nyo naman yun. No? So, pero kailangan, that's part of the job, di ba? Para makapag-deliver tayo ng quality lectures. No? So, that's the first thing that I have to check. No? First couple of years dapat, reliability muna. You need to have a stable set of lecturers na reliable. Talagang pag sinabing March 1, ando na. Baka February pa lang na ibigay na. Yun ang kailangan mong hanapin. Quality comes after. On top siya. Parang cherry on top yung quality. Kasi at the end of the day, alam ko naman guys, you're here because of me. Not because of the whole roster of lectures, but because you saw me and you watched how I conduct lectures. So the best that I can do is pag ako nag-lecture sa inyo, I do my best. Diba? Basically, yung quality na hinahanap nyo, it must come from me. And yun the rest of the list of lecturers, they must be reliable. No? Talagang pag sinabi ganitong date, andyan. Quality is on, cherry on top na siya. Kasi dapat the quality must come from me. So dapat kaya nga nag-improve ako lagi ng setup ko eh. That's why I bought a better setup, better PC, talagang full na yung computer setup ko. 3 monitors ko ngayon guys. Para makondak ko ng tama to. I have one monitor, ito, maganda yung camera. I have whiteboard, I have second monitor, I have the laptop. Diba? And naka-mic na rin ako. No, na high quality. Ito, ganito na. No, mabigat na yung mic. So that we have quality lectures every time. At sabi ko nga sa inyo, next year, gusto ko sana live para nakikita niyo na ako face to face. Kasi ginagawa ko siya, nagko-conduct na ako ng speeches sa ibang universities. Diba? Ina-invite nila ako. Dapat kayo din. Diba? Magkaroon din kayo ng chance to meet me in person. Okay, so yan. No? Yan ang isa sa mga, yan ang ilan sa mga innovations na gagawin natin next year. Ulitin ko, at the end of the day, you came here for me. So ako, I need to do my best to provide quality lectures to you. No? So yun ang yun ang sinasabi ko. I would like to apologize din pala for any delays that we've made nitong bar season na to, kasi nga pasensya na po, unang taon pa lang. No? Marami din kaming nalaman na dapat naming improve. Yun nga, ang isa is reliability in the deadlines. No? Reliability in meeting the deadlines. No? Quality subjective, dapat reliable. Pag sinabing ganito, mamimit yung ganito mag-submit ng ganito. No? And then later on, as the years go by, no, yung mga kaibigan nyo na magtitake ng bar, yung mga kapatid nyo na magtitake ng bar, kasi iba kapatid no, sumabay, naging lawyer na rin. Pag sila na magtitake ng bar, makikita nyo na nadagdagan ni quality ng lectures. Pero all those years, reliable talaga yung stable. Reliable talaga yung grupo na to. And then may isa ako ngayon, yung naka-encourage sa inyo to enroll here, quality. And then, as the years go by, magiging stable yung, magiging parang consistent, magiging consistent yung lectures, nagkakaroon na talaga ng quality. Ito na, nadagdagan na. No? Hindi lang si Attorney Rogel yung gusto naming type of lecturer. May another nang similar like that na mag-discuss na simple. Kasi nga, quality is subjective. Diba? Dito, simple. Diba? We simplify. May other lecturers pa nakakapag-simplify na ngayon. Ganun po, no? It's a marathon, not a sprint. No? So, fifth year, sixth year ng bar season, ayan na. 5 na yung ganun mag-discuss sa ARRC ng simple manner na gusto namin. Ayun. I think that's how we build it. No? So, yun pala. Sa mga titik ng bar next year, we will have a lot of improvements. No? We will make a lot of improvements. We promise a lot of improvements. One of those is face-to-face nga sa akin. Second is reliability. And third is, I'm not making promises, but I promise you to. I'm not making promises. I will not make a promise na maibibigay ko sa inyo lahat. Pero makakapagbigay ako sa inyo ng mas marami pa. Okay? Kasi ngayon, meron na ako ng Remedial Law, Crim 1, Persons and Family Relations, Consti 1, Consti 2. Yan na yung naibigay ko sa inyong official lectures na may materials ko. For sure, next year madadagdagan yan. Probably itong labor. No? Kahit na ayaw nyo hindi nyo masyadong gusto labor. No? Hindi nyo kasi tinatanong masyado about labor, makakapagbigay na ako siguro nito ng full. Probably corpo, meron din. You get the point na madadagdagan siya. I'm not making promises na buo, but I will make a promise na mas madami. No? Probably yung lectures ko na ganito, pwedeng mas konti, no? But at the end of the day, yung written materials ko mas dadami. Okay, mas dadami. Kasi nga, no, yung pa isa, no, isa ko pa lang, would like to apologize din pala guys, hindi na ako masyado nakakapag-chat sa Viber. Nung una nating mga first few months natin ng 2024, everyday magkakausap tayo eh. Ngayon nawala ako. I apologize kasi nga I had to cover yung political law. Supposedly hindi po dapat ako lecturer ng political law, dapat iba. Pero yun nga, syempre nagkaroon ng problem, so I had to cover. So I had to cover Consti 1, Consti 2 and Law on Public Officers. Diba? So I had to cover so much ground. Hindi po ako nagkaroon ng time. Yung pong time sana na yun, supposedly, para makausap kayo And then para konti-konti magawa na yung pre-week para hindi ako masyadong mawala sa GC, sa Viber. But wala, nangyari nga yun Isipin nyo guys, gano'ng kahaba yung Consti 1 and 2. Diba? Kaya nawala ako, no? So nakakahiya din, pero nangyari nga, no? So si Maricar lang ang kausap nyo normally. Yun po, no? I would like to apologize for that. Hopefully, pag natapos na tong 8 pre-week lectures ko, no? Natapos na to, makakausap ko na kayo ulit, no? Which pinaplano namin, no? Hindi pa naman to set in stone. Pero I'm happy na natapos ko na yung labor law officially ng pre-week. Kasi LMT, mas simple na siya kumpara sa pre-week, na mas mahirap ang pre-week gawin. Natapos ko na to. sana magawa namin lahat mid-July. Yun ang target namin. Kasi yung pong enrollment, di ba, ng ARRC, mas maaga. Kasi October pa lang, meron na tayo eh. Di ba? 1 year. Same thing po sa pre-week. Kahit na pre-week reviewer ang tawag natin, months before the bar exam, meron na rin kaming naibigay sa inyo. Yun ang plano namin. Same thing sa LMT. A month before. Kahit na last minute tips, kayo nakakita. Ang last minute tips ng panahon namin, binibigay 1 day before. Ibibigay ko sa inyo 1 month before. Di ba? Para, kung gusto niyo mabagal kayo magbasa, meron kayong chance. Di ba? Yan, I think I can promise that na maigagawa ko. Hindi ako nagsasabi ng precise date sa inyo. Pero yung pre-week, mabibigay namin to, hindi September. Kasi supposedly September, di ba, September ang bar nyo. Di dapat 1 week before the bar exam date, saka lang ibibigay yung pre-week, di ba, iibahin natin. Tayo, at least a month before, maibibigay natin yan, I guarantee that. Okay, kasi nga, mas maganda ni setup ko, mas kaya ko nang mag-conduct ng lecture ngayon. Ilang oras na ako ngayon? Parang 4 straight hours I'm speaking. Hindi ako masyadong pagod, guys. Kasi mas maganda ni setup ko. Before, hindi kasi maganda yung setup ko before, to be honest with you, nakakapagod. Kasi guys, nakatingin lang ako sa laptop, masakit sa mata. No? And yun nga, wala akong whiteboard sa likod. So, paano nangyayari? Yung mata ko, matindi radiation. No? So, mag-whiteboard man ako sa Zoom ko sa laptop, ang nangyayari, nasusunog naman yung mata ko kasi I was very focused sa monitor. In this case, I'm just casually talking to you guys. Tapos tingin dito sa whiteboard, sulat, tingin sa inyo. Diba? Mas healthy for me yung discussion. Okay? Kaya, I can guarantee guys that the pre-week reviewers will be released hindi pa a week before. Weeks before, probably a month before nga eh. Basta ma-release natin ito ng maaga. Same way yung LMT. Okay? Hindi siya a day before. Probably a week before, probably a month before, tapos na kami dyan. Okay? Yan naman ang yan naman ang ipapangako ko din sa next bar season sa mga di mo magte-take ngayon. No? Kung ngayon maaga kami mag-release, maaga din kami mag-release later on. And we will make sure na wala nang delays kasi yun nga, ang una na, hindi na ako masyadong mag-iisip ng kasi ako noon parang kasi syempre nag-start pa lang ako noon. Masyado akong maraming innovations na iniisip. Not knowing na I had to make things simple at some point. Masyado akong maraming iniisip na innovations, that's wrong. At some point, okay yung konting innovations like how I discuss. Di ba? Medyo kakaiba siya kasi simple, concise, direct. Pero yung lecturers, I should have made it simple na ang una ko lang hanapin reliability. If makakita na ako ng reliable people who will deliver lectures on time and probably earlier than expected date, yun ang kailangan lang natin. That's the only requirement, no? Na kailangan kong maibigay. Kasi at the end of the day, ang talagang dapat maganda yung materials. Kaya ngayon talaga guys, sana magawa ko all 8 subjects. At the end of the day naman ang important sa inyo eh. Maganda yung written materials natin, no? Kasi yun naman talaga ang kasama nyo palagi, no? Alam ko guys, nung bar season ko, hindi ko naman napanood lahat ng mga nag-lecture. That's not feasible. Why? Kasi you have codals, you have cases, you have bar Q&As, you have materials. Yung materials nyo, hindi lang naman isa. Diba? You will not have enough time to listen and watch everyone. But what will be with you, beside you, on top of you, diba? Lahat na ng direksyon, yung written materials. That's why I will do my best to deliver as many materials as I can next year. Pati actually yung workbook. Mali yun, no? Naisip ko lang kasi siya kasi may workbook sa ibang sa ibang board exams sa ano, sa ibang mga licensure examinations, no? May mga gano'n silang books na binebenta sa national. Hindi siya feasible sa law school. Kasi tayo, essay, di ba? Focus lang dapat ako next year. I will just focus on the written materials, topics. Yun lang, no? I just like what I said sa inyo, keep it simple, stupid, di ba? Yung when you talk KISS, di ba? Yung quote sa US. Pag tinakal ni labor relations questions, yung fourfold test, keep it simple. Same thing for me. I will just keep it simple. Okay? Packages are simple. Inclusions are simple. Reviewers, di pala. Reviewers will be simpler, syempre, no? Kasi yun ang ino-offer natin. And, yun nga, yung lectures, the quality, yun lang. I have to make it simple. I will raise the quality. I will raise the reliability and everything will fall into place. Okay, we will have a prosperous tayo lahat, no? Even more prosperous 2025 bar sa mga magte-take next year. Sa mga magte-take this year, I hope you will pass it, no? Ito po pala, no, before I end this, lecture, I'm proud dito sa pre-week reviewer na gawa ko for labor law. I really hope na maraming lalabas from this, no? Marami tayong mahihit na topics dito kasi I'm really proud of this material. I think ito yung best material na nagawa ko to date. Ito, this one. Itong buong batch na to guys ng pre-week reviewers. These are the best materials that I made. We've made to date. Ito talaga. Hintayin nyo siya. No? Ito lahat guys. From labor to remedial lahat. No? Talagang pinag-effortan to. No? Kasi marami na rin kaming learnings na na laman din, no, as educators, as lecturers. From the past bar season nung Hernando bar and this bar season sa JLO bar. Marami na kaming natutunan, no. So we keep on getting better din. Ito talaga, no, I'm really proud of this work. No. I did the best that I can. Yun lang naman. Kaya ako proud. Hindi dahil marami ako mapipredict. Sana marami. Diba? I hope marami. And I'm confident na madami. No? Pero I'm proud kasi I did my best talaga in making this material. Talagang in-effortan ko siya. Lahat ng chairs cases andyan guys. 33. And the bar cues nilagay ko pa. May answers. Diba? And then may discussion din ng mga topics. Everything. No? Na in-envision ko na mayroon sa pre-week andyan. And everything is stats-based. Walang bias. I was expecting nga nun, sabi ko nga nung simula nung review, na labor standards sa labor relations, pantay dapat ang pagtingin natin sa pre-week, mali pala. Kasi based on the stats, Labrel ang nangingibabaw. So yun ang ginawa natin. No? I'm very happy very happy. No? I'm elated. No? I'm ecstatic in the results of this material. And ganun din po, no? Sa other 7 subjects na gagawin namin for pre-week and LMT, I think this will be our best materials to date talaga. No? Thank you for listening, watching. No? Ngayon, matagal din tayo magkausap ngayon. Pinakamatagal to so far. Hindi ko ata ito nagawa ever. No? See you sa next subject, guys.